How did the OSS develop psychological warfare in WWII? Imagine trying to turn the tide of a war not just with guns and tanks but with ideas and influence. That's exactly what the Office of Strategic Services did during World War II. They created a whole new way to fight using psychological tactics. The OSS had a special branch called the Morale Operations Branch. This team focused on spreading propaganda and using covert influence to weaken enemy morale and support Allied goals. They believed that making the enemy doubt themselves could be just as powerful as military strikes. This branch was made up of 5 key sections. The first was the Special Communications Detachment. They worked directly with U.S. Army units to make sure propaganda was part of battlefield tactics. The second was the Radio Division. They managed secret radio broadcasts that mimicked enemy sources, spreading confusing messages to sow distrust among Axis forces. The third was the Special Contacts Division. They partnered with resistance groups in occupied areas to distribute propaganda and support uprisings. The fourth was the Publications and Campaigns Division. They produced leaflets, pamphlets, and whispering campaigns that spread false or demoralizing stories to enemy soldiers and civilians. The fifth was the Foreign Division. They tailored messages to different languages and cultures, making sure the propaganda hit home. By 1945, the OSS had stations in strategic locations like Algeria, Egypt, France, Britain, Sweden, and Italy. The main hub in London coordinated European operations. This network allowed the OSS to run psychological campaigns that misled enemy forces, encouraged resistance, and sped up the collapse of Axis power from within. They borrowed ideas from the British political warfare executive, especially in black propaganda, which involved disguising messages as coming from the enemy to create distrust. The OSS used many tools for psychological warfare. They created false documents and counterfeit publications to trick enemy leaders. They ran radio broadcasts aimed at demoralizing soldiers and civilians. Leaflets and printed materials were dropped behind enemy lines to weaken morale or encourage surrender. They also worked closely with resistance groups to amplify their messages and create a psychological impact on occupied populations. All these efforts were part of a bigger plan that combined intelligence, espionage, and special operations. The goal was to influence the enemy's mind and weaken their will to fight. This approach helped shape modern U.S. military doctrine on psychological operations. The OSS proved that influence and covert tactics could be powerful weapons in war, alongside traditional military force. They showed that psychological warfare could be a key part of winning a conflict without firing a shot.